Let's have a very honest conversation about becoming fluent in a new language. And I mean a really honest conversation. Tell me if you've had this experience. You've been studying for months, maybe even years. You've got the apps on your phone, Duolingo, Babbel, Memrise. You've bought the textbooks. Maybe you have a collection of teach-yourself or colloquial courses gathering dust on your shelf. You have a mountain of flashcards. You spend hours drilling grammar rules and trying to force vocabulary lists into your brain through sheer repetition. You feel like you're putting in the time, you're doing the work, but then the moment of truth comes. You're in a coffee shop and you hear someone speaking German, and you want to say something, anything. Or your friend introduces you to their cousin from France. This is your chance, but you freeze. It's like there's an invisible wall in your mind. You can feel the words just behind it, but you can't access them. Your brain floods with grammar charts and conjugation tables instead of a simple, "Hello, how are you?" Or even worse, you experience that soul-crushing cycle of looking up a word, seeing the meaning, feeling a flicker of recognition, then going back to what you were reading. And when you see that exact same word 5 minutes later, it's gone. A complete blank. It's like pouring water into a leaky bucket and you're left wondering, is there something wrong with my memory? Am I just not cut out for this? After decades of learning languages myself, I study 8 every single day. And after talking with hundreds of language students, I can tell you with absolute certainty, there is nothing wrong with you. Your memory is fine. The frustration you're feeling almost always comes from one single fundamental mistake. I call this mistake the theory trap. It's the number one reason why passionate, intelligent people just like you, get stuck. It's why you can study a language for years but never actually cross the threshold into true confident fluency. It's why you can feel like you're doing everything right but getting none of the results. But the good news is you can escape this trap. And to do it, we first have to understand a key ingredient, a mindset shift that changes everything. We have to stop thinking like a student and start learning to become a mental athlete. Think about it. If you want to get in great physical shape, what do? You don't just read books about exercise, physiology, or watch YouTube videos of other people running marathons. That's not how you build muscle. To get strong, you have to actually do the work. You have to show up, lift the weights, go on the run. You build your strength, your power, and your endurance with systematic, regular practice. And if you're smart about it, you learn to make the work become play. You find genuine joy in the process itself. Well, learning a language is exactly the same. Your brain is a muscle, and all the results you want, a bigger vocabulary, more confidence, the ability to read literature, the holy grail of thinking in another language, all of it depends entirely on the training process you use. And that training has to build the same qualities as a physical athlete. Let's break that down. Strength in language learning is your vocabulary. But it's not just the number of words you know. It's the difference between passive and active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary is words you recognize when you see them. Active vocabulary is words you can pull out thin air to express yourself. The theorist has a huge passive vocabulary but very little active strength. The practitioner builds active strength through use. Power is your ability to express yourself. This is where grammar comes in. A lot of people see grammar as a set of restrictive rules to be memorized. That's the theory trap. A mental athlete sees grammar as the engine of power. It's the system that lets you combine your words, your strength, into beautiful, complex, and creative ideas. You don't build this power by studying charts. You build it by trying to use it, by making mistakes, and by developing an intuitive feel for how the language works. And endurance is your ability to stay focused. It's your mental stamina. Can you read a chapter of a book or watch a 20-minute TV show or have a 10-minute conversation without your brain getting exhausted and shutting down? This isn't something you're born with. It's something you train day by day. You can't build any of these 3 qualities just by consuming theory. And this is the very part of the process that traps so many dedicated learners. So I will say it again, and I want you to really let this sink in. The fastest way to become fluent in a language is to stop studying it so much and start using it. Let me make this crystal clear with an example. Let's look at 2 archetypes of language learners. I want you to see if you can guess which one actually becomes fluent in the long run. First, we have the theorist. Let's call her Anna. She has decided to learn German. She's brilliant and incredibly diligent. Her process looks like this. She spends an hour every night frantically making flashcards in Anki. She watches YouTube video after YouTube video about the dative case. She has 3 different grammar textbooks open comparing explanations of adjective declensions. Her desk is covered in notes. On paper, she has mastered the theory. She's always preparing to use the language someday. Then we have the practitioner. Let's call him Leo. He has also decided to learn German. His process looks completely different. He picked just one simple program, a book with audio like an Assamil course, and he focuses on using it from day one. In the morning while his coffee brews, he doesn't just read the day's short dialogue. He shadows the audio, speaking along with the native speaker, trying to mimic the rhythm and flow, even if he feels ridiculous. He's not worried about perfection. He's just imitating the sounds. He talks to himself in simple broken German while making breakfast. Now I take the milk. The milk is cold. I put the milk in the coffee. He isn't afraid to sound silly or make mistakes. He is treating the language not as a subject to be studied, but as a game to be played. So, who do you think was more successful? You already know the answer. A year later, Anna Kunz held a simple conversation. She had all the theory but no practical skill. Her knowledge was brittle. She eventually got so frustrated with her lack of real-world progress that she quit, convinced she just didn't have the language gene. Leo, on the other hand, was thriving. He could chat with native speakers about simple topics. He could understand kids' stories and podcasts. Most importantly, he was having fun. He was peeling back the layers of the language like an onion and enjoying the process. His foundation was solid, and because he loved what he was doing, he was motivated to continue for years and years, eventually reaching a high level of fluency. Okay, so what happened there? To understand why Leo succeeded and Anna failed, let's go back to that computer analogy. Imagine your brain is a computer and the German language is a new complex operating system you're trying to run. The theorist, Anna, is trying to run every single program at once. She's reading about German, but not reading in German. Her brain is trying to juggle abstract grammar rules, individual vocabulary words, app notifications, and video tutorials all at the same time. The research calls this multiple elements interactivity, and it's a killer for learning. Your working memory can only hold a few pieces of new information at once. When you overload it, nothing gets processed into your long-term memory. It's like trying to have 5 different conversations at the same time. You can't do it. The practitioner Leo does the opposite. He focuses on automating one core program at a time. He takes a simple, high-impact task, like understanding and reproducing the dialogues from his book, and he practices it until it becomes an ingrained habit. This process of automation is key. It moves the skill from your overloaded conscious mind to your powerful, efficient subconscious mind. This frees up huge amounts of mental RAM. Now, because his brain isn't working so hard just to maintain the basics, he has the space and the capacity to open a new program, like reading a short story or listening to a podcast, without crashing the whole system. His learning is layered and built on a solid foundation. So in that case, what is the action plan? What's the best way to become a mental athlete and escape the theory trap for good? The secret is not a secret at all. It's my life's motto: systematic regularity. But systematic regularity isn't just one thing. It's a lifestyle built on 5 core pillars. Let's break them down. Pillar number 1. Build the habit first, not the skill. This is where most people fail even before they begin. They get a burst of motivation and they try to do too much too soon. They say, I'm going to study for 2 hours every day. And for a few days, maybe they do. But then life gets in the way. They miss a day, feel guilty, and the whole plan falls apart. They were trying to build a massive skill without first building the tiny habit to support it. The solution is to start small, incredibly, ridiculously small. Find a minimum viable habit. What is the absolute smallest action you can commit to that you know you can do even on your worst day? For me, when starting something new, it's just opening the book. That's it. As James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits, you use habit stacking. You link your new tiny habit to something you already do every day. After I make my morning coffee, I will open my German book to the correct page. You do that for a week. You haven't studied, but you have successfully built a habit. You've won. The next week, after I make my morning coffee, I will read one sentence aloud. You build the habit incrementally. Once the habit of showing up is so automatic you can't imagine not doing it, the progress will follow naturally. Pillar number 2, your attention is everything. I'll say it again, if you are not focused, you are wasting your time. A distracted hour of study is worth less than 15 minutes of what Cal Newport calls deep work. Our modern world is an assault on our attention. The constant buzzing of our devices trains our brains to be distracted. You have to fight back. The most powerful tool for this is time chunking. I find that 15-minute blocks are the sweet spot. It's short enough that you can promise yourself, for just 15 minutes I will do nothing else but this. Put your phone in another room. Close the other tabs on your computer. Set a timer, and for those 15 minutes, you are a German language practitioner. That's it. Then take a 1-minute break. Stand up, stretch, and then you can start another block if you have time. And within that block, you need a rule. My rule is the 80-20 rule of review. 80% of your focused time should be spent reviewing and actively using material you've already been exposed to. Only 20% should be on brand new material. Why? Because of the forgetting curve. When you learn something new, you forget it almost immediately. The only way to combat this is through active recall. Review isn't always passively rereading. It's covering the page and trying to recall the dialogue. It's doing your scriptorium exercises. It's testing yourself. This active struggle is what tells your brain, this is important, save it. Pillar number 3, it must be pleasurable. This might be the most important pillar of all. If you are not having fun, you will not stick with it. I've been able to learn all of these languages because for me, it's not work, it's play. Professor Arguez has a term for this innate love of the game of languages, polyitis. You have to feed that inner curiosity. When I was a kid, I loved playing incredibly complex board games with huge rule books. To an outsider, it looked like I was doing homework. To me, I was having the time of my life. A good language course should feel the same way. It's a game you're figuring out. You need to find your mode of play. For me, it's performing the dialogues. Don't just repeat the words like a robot, perform them. If a character sounds surprised, make your voice go up. If they sound grumpy, be grumpy. This turns a boring repetition exercise into a memorable performance. You'll remember the words because you remembered the feeling of saying them. But maybe your play is different. Maybe it's trying to play a video game in your target language. Maybe it's cooking from a French recipe book. Maybe it's translating your favorite song lyrics. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you are interacting with the language in a way that feels joyful and engaging. Pillar number 4, choose one weapon and master it. The theorist, Anna, had 3 grammar books. She was on 5 different apps. She was scattered. This shiny object syndrome is a huge part of the theory trap. You're always looking for the next best thing instead of mastering the tool you already have. The practitioner, Leo, chose one simple tool, his book with audio, and went deep. Pick one high-quality comprehensive resource. An Asamil course is great. A good textbook series like Teach Yourself or Colloquial is great. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be your core weapon. Your job is to learn that tool inside and out. Don't just read it. Do every exercise, shadow every piece of audio, memorize the dialogues. Use it as a springboard for your own creative practice. When you have mastered one good resource from beginning to end, you will have built an incredible foundation. Then, and only then, should you think about adding another tool. Pillar number 5, trust the invisible progress. Finally, even when you're doing everything right, you will have days where you feel like you're making no progress. This is where you have to trust the process. Language growth is like your hair growing. You don't look in the mirror every morning and see a visible difference. You couldn't possibly measure the growth from one day to the next. But you trust that over weeks and months it's happening. And then one day you catch your reflection and think, whoa, my hair is getting long. It's the same with language. Your brain is doing incredible work when you're not actively studying, especially when you're sleeping. It's consolidating memories, forming connections, and building new neural pathways. That's why studying in small regular chunks is so powerful. It gives your brain the time it needs to let the knowledge simmer and take root. You cannot rush this. If you try, you'll just burn out. You have to trust that your consistent daily effort is compounding, even when you can't see it. So, to escape the theory trap, you become a mental athlete, and you do that by building a system founded on these pillars. You build the habit first, you guard your attention and use the 80-20 rule. You make the process pleasurable. You choose one weapon and master it, and you trust the process and the power of time. That's how Leo, the practitioner, built his foundation. That's how you do it too. Don't get stuck studying about the language. The goal is to start living in the language, one small, fun, and regular step at a time. The fluency you're looking for will come as a natural byproduct of that enjoyable process. By the way, I'm releasing my app soon that teaches Spanish using mnemonics, which are clever stories to help you remember words faster. If you want early access to that, sign up with your email address in the link in the description below. And if you want more on how to build these powerful learning habits and become fluent, subscribe to the channel and check out another one of my videos. Thanks for watching and good luck studying.